Before we get into this morning's update, I would like to go into a brief synopsis of what is transpiring across the crypto market this morning. As we can see, Bitcoin is absolutely surging towards that huge liquidation zone of about it was about 6.57 billion, around that 106 to 107,000. We'll take a look at the heat liquidation map because it's been nothing short of spectacular of how it's been following the map so far. And it even came down to that 89,000 liquidation. I know some might be like, oh, what's a good opportunity right now? And there's one in particular that pops out right now. VELO is back testing a massive breakout zone. And we'll get into that chart in a second. But it's definitely testing a big breakout zone. Does it look like it's in horizontal, just out of curiosity, just to make sure we solve that problem? Out of curiosity. And then I'll continue then. I just want to make sure. Good. Looks normal. All right. So definitely figured out that problem to get around the YouTube issues because they're really pushing the vertical screen because they're trying to push that on the platform. So now the only way for me to go horizontal is if I put the live out into the future. If I try to start it on the spot, it'll automatically put it to vertical. So, I mean, if that's a workaround, I'll use it until there's some kind of update, which I don't hold my breath with YouTube. But anyhow, I know some of you, I want to take a look with Onyx real quick because it is railing really hard right now. Like I said in the past, I don't own it. It's not on any of the exchanges that I want or any of the exchanges that I use. But when we looked in the chart, it looked very strong before, and we talked about it again yesterday. It looked strong. I just can't buy it. It's not on an exchange. I don't trust Kraken for past issues. There was a time when I tried to withdraw money, and they did not let me do it for a time. So I won't use the exchange, just personal bias. But anyhow, that doesn't mean you guys shouldn't have it. Where's the other chart? Because we actually charted this prior to the breakout, and now that it's starting to consolidate, I said yesterday I needed to see, I don't know if it was on here if I had targeted. No, it was I know it was the Kraken. I thought it was that's the USD chart. But I said yesterday we had to see how this next move went so we could see how high it could go, just so that we could get some kind of consolidation. Where the hell is this other chart? Oh, maybe it was this one. Okay. And it held above that 006 so far. Now, it had a very volatile swing up, so we'll have to see exactly how this rallies back down. But I definitely wanted to make sure to hit this right on the open, just because I know a lot of you talk about it. I definitely seen some bad character come out of a few of you in regards to when this started pumping and trying to bash me over the head for some reason. A lot of comments, actually, so you definitely lose my respect for doing that, and you can't get it back. It's impossible to get it back when you treat me like that. So just consider that when you run your mouth. But I said over and over, I had a target for this for the first breakout before it ever broke out. We knew it was bullish. It was just eventually when was it going to break out? And it broke out. And now it's over the 006. So that can put this in a very bullish level now if it can hold the back test. But like some of the comments, maybe you should check yourself and listen to facts. So congratulations on a move, but don't show your true character when something goes in your favor. Because the move you see there, it hails in comparison to some of the moves that I've seen already, but I don't flaunt. There's no reason to be like that. We're supposed to be a team. So you make a good move and then you bash the person who's trying to give you the information for free. It doesn't seem to make sense. And now you've gone from being in my good peripheral to a few of you that I can't even look at and respect. So when I see the name, I'm just going to ignore. So, I mean, that's not the side of me you want to be on. Because I give you all the information I can for free. So don't go to that side. Show love. Rick, thank you so much for the $20 donation. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So I'll tell you good or bad, but don't come into my own house and disrespect me if I'm giving you the information. Notice how I came on here and I showed the chart of Onyx because it's moving. That's what I do. Notice how I showed you the support that you want to hold. If you want this rally to continue, that's because I do that. And it's a JP Morgan token. I understand that. I understand the facts. The fact remains it's not on an exchange I trust, so I can't buy it. It's the only reason. It's the only reason I don't own it. If I could have, I would have. But at the same time, everybody thinks, hey, you know what? We just had the biggest run. It's going to 1 billion right now. There's a higher target at 1.8, but we don't know if and when it's going to go there until we see the consolidation. So hold your horses and let's let this develop and let me do what I do. And if you're going to criticize me, at least make it constructive. Be honest with everybody. Don't come into my house and lie about me. That's all I'll ever say to everybody. I'm brutally honest. You can go back and watch the tapes. But don't lie about what I do. I don't appreciate that. I put too much effort into this. So that's your pattern right now. That's your pattern right now. And I could bring it up a little bit higher. And if that's breaking out, that's one thing. If not, could it be forming some kind of rising wedge? I don't know. That's why we have to see the levels. Can it hold 627? If it comes back down, it's a very obvious correction. And it would have to come back down, likely to retest the breakout point at 003. And then the problem with that is a lot of people are not going to talk about it. Everybody wants to talk about it when it's way up here, when it had this big run up just now at 009. Now it's come back 20%. The talk will die down. If it drops down to here, it'll die down even more. If it comes and does a real consolidation, everybody will stop talking about it. But that would be the most bullish the chart has looked if it could hold that breakout. Much like, and that's the last I'm talking about it today. But for a good value right now, VELO broke out, right? And now it's got a back test, more than likely, this first tier. This first tier broke out, and it's more than likely going to now back test right here at the 297 level. Will it come all the way through? It's possible. I know it had a small retest here. It came through, but wouldn't it be nice after going up and down, just to show that it doesn't have to come back through the actual breakout? And once it does that, the technical target's 6.49 cents. So this is where people get scared, but this is where the real info is at. So now, let's get back into why I came on for XRP and for some of the others. As you know, yesterday we talked about how it was having a pullback after it hit $3.40. I put up several layers that we need to pay attention to, and now we can pay attention to. We came up at right now, at least we double topped on the on the $3.40. Right now we're back testing again that first pivot layer of $3.19. Yesterday we talked about how we had a short-term consolidation, and it could lead into a zone right here where you literally might have to back test this small consolidation that broke out this pattern, and it could come all the way out to where this is all stretched out here. And now, as it runs out, that target can get lower and lower and lower, but that's not what you want to focus on now. Now what you want to focus on, because of how it's moved, you can now say, you know what, screw that. That's at $3.04. Let's take a wider look here. And is this pattern now forming, it's forming the downtrending resistance, but now we're going to have to see where this hit comes right now. Is VELO telling us something, being down 10%? Is the market going to do similar? Come back down to its corrective points? Because if so, XRP has a corrective point at $2.60 that cannot be overlooked. That is the fair value gap that has not been filled, and I talked about it yesterday and said I'm not trying to scare anybody, but if it does come through 319, and then there's one at, I believe, 312, that technically, I guess you could if you want, but 319, if it comes through there, that's a big indicator. If it gives that area that, it could come down farther. And it's not because we want it to, but when it came up, that fair value gap, there was one at 272 and 260. It filled the one at 272. It did not fill the one at 260, and that was bad. If you're looking for short-term continuation without the pullback in between, because it would make perfect sense on a thinly traded weekend to have a liquidation style event here just before we have the inauguration. So we'll see. We have to see if it holds 319, we're golden. If it starts coming down too far, then you got to start wondering. But we're in great shape right now. So right now, there's nothing to worry about. Rick Johnson, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. I greatly, greatly appreciate that on this Friday morning. That's incredible. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. That's awesome. That is awesome. Julie's Dogecoin's up 8.5% today to 40.8 cents. There's no way for me to look at an XRP heat map. They don't exist in the way that Bitcoins do. I've tried. Believe me, if there was an XRP heat liquidation map that I could show, I would. How many a future XRP millionaire at $5 laugh out? Oh, this guy's been doing this for years. I love these kind of people. Stay broke, my friend. H-bar up 1.17%. Let's see. 3.13%. But stuff is starting to come down a little bit, you know? You're getting that feeling a little bit that we could, we'll see. We'll see if this holds. We want to hold this support. And we're trying to see if some kind of weird bull flag is going to form or something. Because you see how that resistance is? Now we're looking for a support structure. Like, is this a support right here? Is this wick a support? Or is this something more? Is this something more? So I'm looking for the consolidation, or we obviously have to pay attention to the fact, could we have been in a rising channel on the way up? Because obviously we never touched that 260, which formed a channel. And I'm going to be honest the whole time. Unlike this guy in the audience who's trying to criticize me while he goes and works his 9 to 5 on Monday. But then he criticizes me for doing my job. That's why I said on Monday he's going to be going, oh yeah, he's already at his 9 to 5. My bad. Texting from his cubicle. I don't know. Read your comment, my friend. That's criticism. Made it sound like I'm a sleazeball for doing this for so long and not being XRP millionaire, even at $5, without understanding what's actually built. I'd say that's kind of that's an indirect kick in the nuts. You might not see it that way, but if I see it that way, then it is. That's just how 2025 is. A big kick in the nuts from some of you, but that's okay. That's okay. The downtrending, but look at that. If that is some kind of rising channel, because I argue that we could have fallen outside of this in the short term. And if that's the case, it makes sense because look where it started. It started where? At the fair value gap. I almost say I could see a drop coming, but we have to really turn this through this 316, come through 312. Oh, trust me, I'm brutally honest only in this live because the comments I seen this morning, I'm just like, you know, and I'm not brutally honest in a bad way. I'm just not letting my I'm not letting the bad emotion out, but I will be honest with my feelings if somebody says something. Let's see. I do see a channel form there. I'm not going to lie about it. I see a channel that formed and we came outside of it, at least short term. I think that's fair to say. Actually, you know, we could actually, nope. Right here, it's fair to say. I think that's fair to say. I think that's fair to say we came outside that channel. And unless we come back through, it looks like a small topping reversal. But we could still hold this area and it forms some kind of weird, it looks like some kind of weird setup too, though. Like if it pulls through. You know, if it were to pull through here, you could see some kind of weird flag. If it pulled through there, even if it came through here, you could see some. We're going to have to just watch this. This is why I like to watch it play out. I know the 319 is that gap area. I also know that it looked like it was forming a channel on the way up, and I'm not afraid to show it. It's just, are you afraid to see it, is the question. Because I'm not afraid to see the truth. So, you know, that could be, and on thinly traded weekends we're coming into. Yeah. That's where we stand. That's where we stand. Yeah, we went over Onyx already. But honestly, just for now, I'll show you one more time, and then I'm not going to show that chart anymore because of the disrespect I got from some of you over that token. So just from a personal standpoint, I'm not going to share my knowledge with this one after this. So that's just the way I'm going to approach it. So it's either going to break out of this in the short term, and if it does, you've got a higher target we've labeled, and it's up at 1.8 cents. And then it could go further if it breaks through there. Or it's forming some kind of rising wedge, and then you have to watch for the retest of the breakout. So that's the last time I'm going to show that chart. And good luck. Good luck. You guys are free to talk about it in the comments, but I will not be entangled with any more talk about Onyx anymore until people learn respect. And with that token in particular, for some reason, True Colors came out of the audience, and, you know, it is what it is. No, you guys couldn't pay me enough to get private analysis. See, when you get to my bad side on something, this is where you see the true sins of not showing love and just showing hate. I don't work on hate, and I don't work on that vibe. So some of you ruined a good thing with the good thing. Let's just say that. We could also say with XRP, we're working on something like this. So let's see how this consolidation does. Let's see. But yeah, that's not a bad consolidation. That is not a bad consolidation. No, see, if you guys are thinking I'm talking to you in the live right now when I'm bringing up this, no. You haven't been paying attention to the comments on my update videos, which I don't usually, but because it was one particular token that kept giving me the same exact kind of rhetoric, that's what I'm talking about. Anybody in this live, it has nothing to do with you. Has zero to do with you. So if you think it is, you're looking too far into yourself. You know, don't waste your time like that. Plus, it doesn't matter what I think, does it? I'm just a guy on here trying to give you the info. So like I said before, you don't want my emotions with the charts. So you certainly don't want it with each of you. So that's the separation. So for me to separate, because I received a lot of unfair criticism and hate, and some people are putting a bad eye on my channel through that token, I won't use my time to do the analysis. But I did this morning, did I not? Did I not last night before it continued to break out massively? So, you know, but some things in life, that's how it goes. And sometimes you see that. So anyhow, now I can get past it. I won't focus so much on the comment side, but I'm going to focus more on this. So if XRP, it's one of two things. That $3.09, wait a minute. Oh yeah, the support, I forgot. We created a support here at 316. Just because we filled the gap, we also have to look at that touchdown. So 316, I would say, universally is a great spot to hold. But I could see it coming through and filling this out. Almost like it's forming some kind of descending. If that's the case, that's really bullish as well. We just need to get over this resistance area and then ultimately break over. Could be a big W reversal that's forming here as well, which would be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. Because we came outside of what looks like it does look like a channel was formed and it came outside of it, like a rising channel. But sometimes that just means it's doing the part of the consolidation. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Because we definitely have two hits on like a support structure there, it looks like. I could definitely see this maybe playing out something like that. It makes sense. And then if it falls out of it, then I could see it coming to the gap possibly. Almost like they want to get rid of some of this leverage here. I'm assuming there's a massive amount of leverage on XRP. It's about an 18% kick. How far is that from the top? That's standard 25 that's a good correction. Elias, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Forget the haters. You've changed my life, man. Thank you, Tom. Oh, no, trust me. This is the way that I move on past the situation. So this is how I cope. This is a good cope. Notice I'm not yelling. Notice I'm not. This is a good cope. This is me growing in 25. You know? This is how it's done. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Believe me. There's no place I would rather be. And there's no people I'd rather be in front of. Because I know we've created something here. But at the same time, sometimes you got to show your boundaries and you got to show your limitations. So some of you have seen my boundaries where I won't go beyond and be disrespected in a certain way. Some of you see how I react when I'm seeing the positive love and the positive flow. So, we all have boundaries. That's it. In life, I have a boundary and nobody talks to me a certain way. So I won't acknowledge it and tolerate it here because I have a form of integrity. And I also act and conduct myself in a way of humility. And I stay humble. So, I demand a certain line of expectations in my real life around my family, around my friends. Well, I don't even have friends. But I used to until I got hurt, broke my back, and then people... Yeah, it doesn't even matter. The point is when you expect something and you demand something, the community is not going to be what you envision unless you stay true to your principles. So for that matter, I don't care about the haters. I'm just staying true to who I am. So in the real world, I would just stop talking to you. So in my community, I'm not going to acknowledge that particular token, even though I was cool enough to continue to talk about it and then show it today again so you would know the levels and know what you would have to worry or where you could get really excited about. Because I'm not going to leave everybody on a cliff like Jennifer and some of the cool ones in here who talk about it. But sometimes you have to separate. And that's all I'm doing. I'm separating from a spot that I don't respect. Period. And that's the only way that I can teach integrity in my own community is by preaching by acting the way I preach, period. And now we're going to move on. I do see 2 new members of Tom's Army. That's incredible. That's incredible. I can't even believe that. Barber, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. Like, I got truly shocked that 2 people just joined Tom's Army. Wow. So some of you appreciate the integrity standpoint. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, Dogbite, as well. And yeah, don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on this beautiful Friday morning. And look, there's so many people preaching our Lord and Savior that God's present within all of us. So sometimes, I guess I was the mediator to get a message out. But right now, we're holding this zone so far, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time for this to run out the way it wants to. So far, we've had a bearish cross in some of these time frames. And, sometimes you just have to be honest and be like, hey, if this is the way the pattern's set up, how the heck do we get out of this bullishly? And what is the possibility of a breakdown? By no means is this ending the formation. But, look at that move. It had a first layer move. And that's how we could project out. Like I said, I don't make predictions. But it seems like it sometimes, right? It seems like it sometimes. Only because when we talked about this, and even in the updates, I was trying to show everybody how at first we were on the verge of $3, but then I kept talking about the $3.40 when it was down here. And then people, it's not that I'm making a prediction, it's just what the charts are showing. Oh, maybe that was in the lives, duh. I know I put it in there a lot of times. Yeah, 340 was there. But XRP 43% surge to 338 if pennant flag breaks out. That was 4 days ago. 338 5 days ago if pennant flag breaks out. Bitcoin forms symmetrical triangle. And if it breaks out, it could form 112,000. And then I kept talking about that 338. The 338 8 days ago. It's a lot of stuff, so it seems like I'm making a prediction, but I'm not. I target what the charts are showing. So now, if I was watching this and all of a sudden XRP fell out of this or came close, once it came below 316, then I could start saying, if XRP loses $3.11, We have a first tier drop, right? A first tier drop, even though this doesn't look bearish yet. Believe me, it doesn't. Not yet. But then you could have a first tier drop. And this is how, from a technical standpoint, if you can start to see what's forming, like, hey, maybe there is a rising channel. But let's see if this is a bullish consolidation or not, because it is a descending consolidation. And at least we got resistance, 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 support, support. But if it broke down, then you could see, hey, maybe we have a 7% correction to start. And it's convenient because that level is a very important level. That's the breakout point of the cycle high at $2.90 area. So that makes sense to go back into that area and maybe tap it again if it needs a little bit more support. Michael, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Not only being in Tom's Army for quite some time now, well over a year, but sending a $10 donation. I over 2 years now. Wow, that should be 589 moon badge. Holy smokes. That's incredible. That is incredible. Thank you so much, you guys, for the generosity. I really appreciate it. So I could almost dare say maybe it's creating some kind of inverse pattern again. That's what I'm saying. If it, don't look at it like we're looking at it to break down. We're looking at scenarios. So now if it breaks out, this is where it could get spicy. Then it gets right back into that channel. We could take this to the promised land all the way up to 370. Because this is the cycle uptrend right now. That yellow line up there is the cycle uptrend. That's the uptrend it respected the whole way up from the time it started this uptrend. But now it's on the back side of it, so we're trying to get back above it. But man, this could develop in a very quick way here. It really, really could. Adam says, can't thank you enough for going over the XCN chart. You're making a huge difference in my life. Also bought 50,000 more IOTX. Beautiful. We can go over IOTX as well. I forgot to go over that. I actually bought more a couple days ago when it went down, what was it, 2.8 or 2.9, something like that. Right near that 3-cent drop. I bought more of it too. I think I have 122,200 now instead of 100,000. So I bought a little bit more myself. And thank you for the $9.99 donation. I appreciate that. And Jennifer, welcome to Tom's Army. Holy smokes. Wow. This is one of the most, I don't know why so many people are joining Tom's Army today, but beautiful. Beautiful. Ricky says this guy is already a living legend that should have been included in the XRP movie documentary. Oh, well, they can't include me because they should have included me, but they won't. What is that? Yeah, Julie's going to make fresh bread this morning. See the positivity. Yeah, she said because people are joining Tom's Army, I get fresh bread. And see, Julie, somebody else joined Tom's Army. Joseph, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. I appreciate that. Holy smokes. Wow. And George, welcome in, George. I didn't forget. Hopefully you're not hungover or anything from your 61st birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to you, my friend. Unless it's the wrong George, then I would feel like a doofus. But it wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time. Jennifer. Oh, Joey is your brother. Oh, I seen someone commenting to Joe. Commenting. That is cool. Jennifer's brother Joseph is in here. Look at this community. Look at this community. Oh, there's a lot of things making me happy. Oh, it's making me happy knowing how much of you are making money on XCN too. Ooh, that could be a big one. That could be a big push. That could be a big push. Anyhow, so we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out. XRP's bounced off of the support so far, so we'll see if it can come outside of this and make a quicker run up to that 370 area. Bitcoin supporting us right now. Bitcoin supporting, you know, a volatile swing possibly, because I could also see here, we could be forming something more like this. It's just a matter of how we want to look at it. But I kept it like this just in case it cuts off. But you could certainly see maybe that's a wick there. But we'll see. We'll see exactly how this wants to play out. We're just projecting one way or the other. I still think this is a bullish setup here. Unless it forces it down. Unless it forces it down. So, but anyhow, what was, oh yeah, I do remember Kryptonian's been talking about that. I do remember that. AXL. I remember we talked about it. I thought we talked about it, and we talked about how it looked like a bullish setup here. Yeah, we did. I remember this. I remember I messaged you. Because I noticed when I looked deeper, it's on BITUNIX as well. Yeah, I said scam at first, I remember, because a lot of people put in, remember I looked into the chat to make sure it wasn't Axler, because there's one that's similar that they always scam my YouTube, and it always happens when I'm in bed too, because when I'm awake, I try to block all of them, but it's impossible. It's impossible to do it when I'm sleeping, so, you know, unfortunately, YouTube let the scamming go way out of control. Way out of control. But this is filling out, like, so anywhere in this formation, this is where you're trying to buy. That looks like a big inverse head and shoulders. At least to me, it does. I'm almost, like, this is one. Let's see. I want to see something real quick. I want to see how big this, where the hell is this at? Sorry, I can't see this because everybody's commenting, but keep commenting. All I can say is the longer we consolidate around that was once a blow off top bear market kickoff, we must stay focused. Yes, indeed. I agree with that. I agree with that. It's all an illusion. Thank you for the $5 donation as well. That's awesome. So I'm gonna, like I said, I am not. So this one's funny because on the down low, I've a little bit as this formation's filled out, but I've been saying the last 2 times I've looked at this chart that inside of this consolidation is where you would want to buy in. Anything outside of it, let's say it breaks out, that's where it becomes less appealing because now you're going towards the break. Anything inside this consolidation, you could argue that you are accumulating for a bullish breakout. And I believe what I'm seeing here, like this, like I don't want to be like, hey, I'm a financial advisor or anything like that. But if that's the case, we have a low, a lower low, a higher low, which could have created that inverse pattern. Obviously, it's got a long ways to go still because it could fill all the way out to there. But it's at the bottom side here right now. So every time up, so that's where you would kind of seize off of the buying. But every time it's coming off the bottom from a certain percentage point, you could buy into every additional rally, hold, buy it again, hold until it does the breakout, or it's going to have a sudden surge, which is definitely possible. You got me. You got me, my friends. So this is definitely that's definitely intriguing to me. So FYI, I have been purchasing some of this. I haven't got to my direct goal yet, but I have been purchasing it only because somebody made me look through this. I think it was Kryptonian. And I had to look through my chat very deeply. And then I had to send him a message and say, my bad, because this is in fact not a scam. And I looked at the ties with Ripple. So yeah, like some of you said, XCN has ties with the other ones. This technically has ties with Ripple. So it definitely should be on our radar. And I could see a big swing up here. I really could see a huge surge up here at some point. I mean, I really could. It really is set up in that regard. So, to be honest with you, Kryptonian, I've been buying into it. I don't know how many I'm going to get in totality, but I'm willing to buy in this entire consolidation how I used to with XRP when it was at a certain level, only because of what I've been able to read about. And not just that, it looks like, if we look at that in the smaller term, You know what? I'm going to put it on. Which chart do I want to put this on? Because apparently I didn't save it. I don't remember which chart I was just doing. I think I had, yeah, Coinbase for some reason. Yeah, but that's a nice setup. Like, even the cycle uptrend. I remember doing this. I'm like, you know, I don't think it's going to come all the way back down here. If it does, it does. But it looks more like it's been building in an entire rotation. It finished a left shoulder, head. Maybe this was a right shoulder in time. But now it's rounding the bottom. This is actually starting to round the bottom and is showing signs of an inverse head and shoulder. This looks like the start. And let's get rid of this, just to get rid of some of the noise and go like this. This looks like the start from a bottom, and now we're creating higher lows. That's what's exciting about this. For the first time in this pattern, you can see there's a low, a higher low, a higher low. This is bona fide getting ready to blow up if it keeps these higher lows. I'm just saying, like, for anybody who likes Ripple and XRP, there is a huge tie into Ripple with this. That's not a joke. I looked it up. I did some researching, and because like I told Kryptonian, my bad. It's because I trusted you. I actually looked into this. And, yeah, he's definitely not lying. There's a lot of good with it, so I have to remember to talk about that one. I definitely have to remember. And until it breaks out of that dollar zone, I think that it's a good buy all within that. Oh, I know, you've already said that, Kryptonian, that it's all good, but still, I will acknowledge when I am wrong. Let's see. Kryptonian said he sent a donation. $5.89. What a strategically placed donation amount. Thank you for that, Kryptonian. I really do appreciate that. And the fact that you got it through my thick skull that, hey, that's not what they're scamming. It's not the same thing as what they post in your comments. Because, man, would I have felt stupid if I would have missed out on that because I thought it's what they were scamming on my channel. I don't know. I generally get excited when I look at that one now for some reason. I think that that's one that I would have never known about. But it has a direct tie into what I'm trying to do. And it's like I have extra capital that I can flow. So that's what I've been doing over the last about 10 to 12 days now. Or 7. It was either 7 to 8 or 10 to 12. I don't know. My time goes like this, so I can't tell. XLM is at 47.6 cents. That's a massive bull flag. I'm just saying, XLM's working on a breakout. It's working on a back test right now. And it's holding. I'm telling you, if it holds this, the technical target, because we know the back test would be somewhere around here. Short term is 64.4 cents. What kind of a differential would it give you if XLM actually broke out of that? And it actually pushed out. Jennifer, we all want to be like Tom when we grow up. Yeah. See, I'm not the young buck I used to be. You know, now I'm like middle-aged old guy. So now I've got a little bit of history. So now people can grow up to be me. But, you know, I aspire to grow up and be like George and some of the older ones in here as well. That are still on the ball, that still have their sights set on something in particular. And they still understand what they want and what they need. Like, that's what I aspire to be. I'm not even joking. Because they have the passion going through life when it kicks you up and down, the highs and lows, and still to have that kind of passion. Isn't that what it's all about, Julie? I do think that's what it's all about. Pretty cool thing to see this audience the way we work. It really is. Kryptonian, because of you, I'm going to talk about this one more. I'm putting it on my phone so that I can, so that it pops up not just in my YouTube, but also on my phone. I mean, not just on my tablet, but on my phone. I'm setting certain alerts here So when it breaks out past certain numbers, Julie knows I have my tablet and my phone will go beep, 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 beep all over the place. And that's because I have certain, so tell Julie we all want a fresh loaf. I don't have time to make one today with work. I wish we could just send you a fresh loaf. And I've learned how to bake all this stuff too because of Julie. I never really knew how to bake in regards to, like, even I used to do other things like outside in the gardens and growing and culturing and that kind of stuff. But she's taught me the baking side so good now. Like, I feel like a bona fide baker. I really do. Hold on, I'm just finishing. I apologize. I'm finishing trying to. You guys know when you start to put different things on the chart, if you don't save it, then if I go from my tablet to my phone, it's not going to work. But yeah, just study this chart because the top potential here, if it breaks this pole perfectly, the top target's $1.17. I don't know who said it in the chat, but oh, George did. George, you know your technical analysis. Like, I must say, yeah, I can't even say that you were right there. You were right there. Now, maybe you might have seen my technical analysis, but even if that's the case, that is very impressive. Okay, so got that. Got that. Boom, boom. I'm going to send it to my email. Because, guys, when you have an alert set, when you're trying to see when things happen, I highly encourage you to have it in every way possible so that it can't, you don't miss it. You don't know how many times I've missed something that I wanted to talk about because I'm watching too many things at once and then I forget about something and then I go back 2 months later and I'm like, oh. So I had to make sure that I was going to just stay in a buying routine. So I told myself, you can keep buying this. I mean, try not to buy it when it gets over 85, I told myself, but you can buy it all the way up until it gets to certain points. And that's what I told myself. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I saved everything. I'm so happy about that. But anyhow, one day I'll reveal how many I have, but not today. Because I'm trying to get to a certain number and I don't want to be influenced by anybody. By somebody saying, oh, that's not enough or that's too many of those shit tokens. Because I don't think that's what it is. I think it's something more. I do. I think there's something more, and Kryptonian opened my eyes to a very big potential there. So anyhow, that's what I'm looking at for XLM. It's got an inverse head and shoulders big one that's breaking out. It's breaking out of this little bit of a falling channel, which is more like I think it's a bullish continuation pattern. Some would say falling channel, yada, 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 so on and so forth. But 64 cents if it can hold. If it falls back within, technically, I only draw this out because it broke out of this, so maybe it did prematurely and it comes back in here and does something like that to break out if we were premature. So maybe in a scenario where we've seen XRP come to 260, maybe it could do something like that. But the odds-on choice is this comes back to 44. And how big of a move is that from here? But yeah, these 7% moves seem like they're possible. Amanda, happy birthday to you yesterday. Wow. We had a couple birthdays yesterday. That's incredible. That's awesome. 1970 Legend, thank you for continuing to be in Tom's Army for 5 months now with the XRP Meteor. No, we did not go over H-bar yet today, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Nor did we go over DGB. Yet. I'm not getting no, unfortunately, notifications. No, I don't think it's just my channel. I think everybody goes through the same thing with notifications on YouTube. But I've never had good success rate of my audience getting my notifications. That's why I normally do my live at the exact same time. Except like today, my son didn't have school. There was a lot of stuff to talk about. A character building moment for me as well. So my audience understands my expectations of everybody. So I couldn't just get all that through an update because then people would have said, oh, you're giving too much time to the haters or you're losing focus or whatever. But there's a rhyme and a reason for everything I do. So now, I feel like with this live, we're on the right path. And especially with some of these charts, there's no way I could have did this in a short amount of time. So it created this small consolidation within the bigger consolidation. We know it was an inverse pattern. It looks like within just a gigantic bull flag, it looks like. We came up to our first target now. So once you come up to the first target, and yeah, the full through target would be 43 for just the flag consolidation. But because you had a cycle top here that got rejected, that becomes your first area of resistance. There's no way to look past that. It's impossible. One could argue that's a gap area that we had to come through and fill from the run up. Because, I mean, we technically came through, but it's just, there's ways to look at it. So now, because we consolidated on there, now it's the question, do we come all the way back up to the pattern breakout? What do we usually say? You very rarely don't come back down and retest, especially a massive pattern with massive implications on a breakout. You generally won't just break out without retesting this area. That's why I'm saying I could see a little bit of a drop. Maybe they're going to use this weekend to drop the market 17 to 20% or something. I don't know. But it definitely is something that happens. The fear and greed is what's throwing me off right now. Is that really what it is? It's only 57 still after all of this? Just out of curiosity, like, what is going on? Oh, flare is breaking out now. Oh, I better look at that. We like to look at flare when it starts to move, for sure. AXL is up 10.5% now. Nice. Kryptonian, I'm rooting for that one more than most now. Flare. Let's take up the first chart we see. Up 11% today as well. So look, the Ripple themed tokens right now, at least the ones on the ledger, are making a little bit of noise right now. If this is the chart we had, it's almost getting to the top side of this now. Like I said, I chart it for everybody when they bring it up. Whether or not I look at it all the time or not, the information's still there by layer. You just have to watch it when I go back to it. Because there was obvious targets to me that we had coming up. First, we had the first move, which it looks like it's already filled that up to 3.2 cents, which is fantastic. And now if it can hold 3.2, you got a much larger target that's being built here up to 5 cents. And it might go beyond that. I don't know yet. Because you could have a big inverse head and shoulder in the all-time pattern. Because I like to use this one where you don't have to go back too far. But if you go just from here, boom, up to a head, down to a shoulder, bull flag breaking out. If it gets past here, you could see a big, big return here. So yeah, not a bad call with flare, everybody. It's just pay attention to it when the cycles move because it's a nice one to get when the cycle starts pumping. And then you got to remember it often kicks back about 90% just to redo it and go up just a little bit higher every time. Or 80%. We've seen it rinse and repeat. But there's going to come a time where it's going to set a different floor. They have to. So some of these are just going to set a different floor. I continue to preach commodities. The more these start to get negative attention, the more I'm buying. It's just I got back into that routine. Nobody wants to buy it. They consider it junk. So I was buying a reserve in silver again, this time in paper, just to combat my commodity holdings, kind of like a stable holding. And so far, so good. So far, so good. I'm very encouraged, though, with some of the stuff I'm seeing today with some of these tokens. I'm not going to lie. Very, very encouraged. Actually makes me very, very happy. So it does. It makes me happy to see some of this. Other than that, I mean, I've gone over a lot of stuff. We've gone, you know, we've definitely gone over a lot of stuff here. Does everybody feel comfortable where we're at this morning? Oh, yeah, DGB. DGB is definitely one we'll look at. DGB is definitely one we'll look at. I'll definitely look at DGB before I leave. I'm just looking at one thing real quick. Mm-mm. All right. Is that Michaela stuff beeping right now? What does it say? Oh, that's not awful. Okay. All right. So DGB before I leave here, because it is Friday morning. I have every intention of doing my live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh yeah, Jennifer said Quant. I can definitely look at Quant too, as real quick. So DGB is up 4.7%. It's still in a massive consolidation. Like it's gonna take time. DGB, whenever it does it, like I always say, DGB, it does it on its own terms, but when it moves fast. And I think we can all acknowledge this is building something incredible. It's just when it happens, I'm going to get the question of should I still buy DGB, but it's going to be, you know, at a point where I'm going to say, I really wish you would have bought it this whole time in this consolidation. You hear what I'm saying? So I've got 1 million DGB. I've not been shy about it. I've been buying DGB since 004 or 0048, then 006, 005, 008. Hell, I even bought it at 1.18. So I bought it in the not so distant past here. So we'll see when it gets ready to do its move, because when it does, it's going to be some kind of a move. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it hasn't moved at all. It's moved from 004, folks. Down here is where we were preaching it. That's my baby, so be nice to it. Tracy, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. What an incredible day of support. Wow. I know there's 3 Kupiaks part of Tom's Army. Kyle Kupiak, Jennifer Kupiak. So, I'm trying to read through the audience. So, are all of you related? I know Joseph is Jennifer's. Joseph is my brother, Kyle. So, Joseph and Jennifer Kupiak are brother and sister. And now there's just randomly another Kupiak. Isn't that crazy? Because Kyle Kupiak's been in here for ages. Kyle, that's so crazy. Wait a minute. Kyle Kupiak. Is that Cape Cod Kyle? Now I'm confused. Kyle Kupiak, aren't you Cape Cod Kyle? Now I'm getting confused with all these Kupiaks. What the hell is going on? In the Twilight Zone. This is too funny. I think that's Cape Cod Kyle. The Kyle Kupiak. My mind is like blown right now. Because we literally have Jennifer Kupiak, Joseph Kupiak, which both joined Tom's Army and their brother and sister, and Cape Cod Kyle, which I used to famously say lived in Florida, and he's like, no, that's Massachusetts, and I said it about 4 times, and he so politely corrected me. So yeah, the Matrix is definitely working in a weird way. So we've got Cape Cod Kyle, so that's how we're going to know that he's not related to the brother and sister, Joseph, and Jennifer Kupiak. It's so crazy. And it's so funny because your name is spelled the same way. Spelled the exact same way, the last name. That is an incredible thing. Real quick though, before I leave, I want to do this for Jennifer. I want to do wait a minute. Quant. I like Quant. I'm a fan of Quant. It's just I missed my price point because I'm a dope, as some of you know. Sometimes I miss the chart because I talk about so many others. It actually hit my point that I said I was waiting for, and I'm so mad. What the hell is this? This isn't what I wanted. Ah, here we go. And it actually, that's not the right chart, though. I'll just put a QNT. But I have a chart, and it hit it 100% perfectly where I was waiting for, but no. I was not paying here. I was not paying attention. I had a $45 price target in 2021. I said I would buy it if it got to $45, and it was way up. And even here, I said I'll buy it at $45 because it was the bottom of this cycle. I sure as hell got that chance. Very close. And I never seen it at $49.90. And I this is probably going to be one in the long term where I go, you had this right in front of you the whole time. You watch this entire consolidation from the bull to the bear. You had a perfect strategy. You bought pretty much everything else you wanted to, but how the hell are you not going to buy what's essentially the mainframe for the entire ecosystem of cryptocurrency if you believe that it's that powerful? It basically runs it all. And I fully expect this to be where something like, oh, I'm having a brain fart now. Crap. It's one that I watch, but it's at like 250 or 300 now. But I fully expect AMP to be up there at some point. Like, I will be shocked if we don't see it up over $337 at some point here. That's a 200% move. And the reason why I wanted to buy it down here is, yeah, I wouldn't have had 10,000 of these ones by no means. But to try to buy even 100 at this price, it's expensive. But to buy 100 here, you could have got it for $5,000. Now it's oh man, this is one that's going to bother me for so long. I can't even express to all of you how mad I am at myself for missing this one, because I planned it for years. And now, yeah, some could argue it's not that far up, and it's not, but it's gone up 134%. But yeah, so high hopes for that one. I'll keep it on there for you, Jennifer, just in case for some reason it comes back down for old Tom, which I doubt it will, because it's already gone up so much. Oh, what the heck? I put the wrong chart. But we'll definitely, we'll pay attention to Quant. We'll pay attention to Quant for sure. $69, great price for Quant. Great price. Anywhere in that range was a great freaking buy, especially in this consolidation. Now, getting over, the digits it's over right now makes it interesting. So, but it's definitely, it's got a chance here. It's got a chance. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with what I'm seeing right now. And honestly, in the market, I'm just looking at a lot of things because commodities are moving. We got the US dollar currency up by about 0.22% right now, up to 109.19. Stock market is up 444 points here, up 1%. Remember, markets are closed on Monday. So when the inauguration is going on, everything's closed. Everything's closed. So, like, you're not even going to have the ETFs open. So it's going to be a wild ride this weekend, I have a feeling. And with the being a thinly traded weekend, the markets could certainly surge out here. They could certainly surge out here. Oh, yeah, VeChain, somebody said up 8% today. VeChain's another one. We're just waiting. It's a little ahead of DGB now. It's finally breaking out of this consolidation. First target is 9.6 cents. I've often said, if you miss out on some of these, they were at such a beautiful buying range that some of us will kick ourselves if you don't buy these when they're at these prices. I'm telling you, we've watched these in past cycles. And once they start moving, these don't move like the other utility tokens. These move in a way of their own because of their price points. And this first target should be up here in totality. It's just consolidating right now. But 9 cents here, we'll put that there. But these ones, in time, this is going to break so far out. I just don't show the massive targets. But this, in time, these are going to be huge. These are really going to be huge. But I got to go. I want to go deal with my son and Julie in a good way. Have a blessed morning, everybody. I'll see everybody back. I'll do a short at some point. And then tonight, I plan on being here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for the kind, compassion, love. The new members of Tom's Army, the Kupiaks that are coming out of the works here in the Matrix. We got Kupiak here, there, and everywhere. So it's been a pretty fun and exciting live. So thank you all so much. I really